Alright, so we just did a demo on with two guide curves under the profile type called explicit. So in the pop-up window, the first icon you have is explicit. That takes any shape that's not a line, circle, or a conic and creates a swept surface. Alright, so I used that L-shaped profile and it followed that and it worked great. Okay, this is going to be fine if you do this exact same technique. But there's a potential problem using this technique, which is why I never recommended using this technique. So I'm going to try and demo the problem. Okay, so I'm going to create another wireframe. Did anybody see the potential problem with this? I'm going to try and make
I was kind of wondering what would happen if you needed to run something else perpendicular to that along the inside. That's, like go through it. But that's the only thing maybe it's not a problem.
Some of it I just have to test out. I don't know. So I'm going to create that same shape. You guys notice I didn't create it on the axis, right? Because I don't want to lock to the axis and then not be able to unlock from that. You can always just create your shape. Another trick here is we can highlight everything and go right to auto constrain, datum these two lines, stack dimension it, and just change this to a 0. There's nothing wrong with that technique either. The only thing that's kind of ugly is you got the zeros there. And you can't really rename those datums like I have you rename the coincidence. Okay, so but see how I could do all this, and and I could change these numbers to whatever you want after. Whoa, I don't want that. But whatever you want after that. So we'll just keep it simple. I'll just do a 1-inch angle bracket. Which, by the way, I don't even remember if I covered this, but if you're going to use an L-shaped bracket, what you do is there's a book of extrusions, and you go into the book of extrusions, and you look for an extrusion that works for you. More than likely, they've already got a 1x1 extrusion, so you wouldn't have to specially make any extrusions or cut one up. It's probably got 1x1 with 1/4-inch flange. So, in the book, what you guys need to know is understand how to read this. This bracket would say
would you just import it then?
Depending on where you're at, but yeah, there'd be a book, you go find it, and either they would tell you what the standards are and you make it, or your company will have a whole bunch of library of parts to use, or you download them. Okay, but that call out means that it's a 1/4-inch by 1x1. So we know that the first call out is the gauge thickness of the bracket. It's constant 1/4-inch, and then you're calling off your legs. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this and go to my ISO view. So if I create another sketch, and I create a line same length as this one, exit out, and I'll duplicate the same thing we just did under surface, swept, explicit is what I'm using with two guide curves. Alright, The profile is which line? This line or this line? Anyone?
The other one?
This line?
Yeah.
This line is my profile, right?
Wouldn't your profile be your sketch?
They're all three sketches.
The profile that you
Yeah.
want is
L
the
shape.
L bracket you made.
Yeah.
This is my profile. So sketch number 2 is my profile, correct? That's the shape of what my surface is going to look like. And then
Yeah.
the guide curves determine what direction the surface is going to go. So that's a trick question. So guide curve number 1 is this one.
The one where the origin is.
That would make the most sense. Although you could do it that way, it just to me it'd be a lot more logical to have this as guide curve 1 and this one is guide curve 2. You could screw around and get it to work, but just logically, you should. If somebody else has to work on your stuff, it'd be a lot more logical for this one to be guide curve 1, where the 0, 0 origin is, and then this is guide curve 2. And then, was there anything else I had to set?
Sometimes you gotta do anchor points, but it figured it out here, it looks like.
Well, we're going to compute the anchor points. We're going to use this point right here. This point number 1. And point number 2 will go over here. Or does it matter?
Let's find out.
It's going to invert that. You see what I just did?
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to do that, you can do that. Okay? But that would be weird to do that. So I'm going to switch my anchor point to be this point over here. See if I can. And then this point over here would be sketch number 2, preview that. And it seems logical, right? So, does anybody know why I would say this is not a good technique?
Just because all the sketches, when those should just be lines.
I'm going to move this line over 1 and I'm going to exit out. It looks like it worked fine. Or did it? Okay. Look what it does. It measures the
That's your profile.
It measures the distance between the two lines and it creates a scale factor to determine what size you want it. So if you miss your part, your extrusion actually gets bigger. Now, would that really happen in production?
No.
There's no way you're going to get an extruded part. It just magically grows, right? This is why I don't like the two lines, because what it does is it scales. So if you miss your end by accident, you're going to create an issue. I'll hit undo and then update. Oh shoot, undo, 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 and put it back. See, now the whole world's great again. But again, if something were to go wrong on sketch 3, maybe somebody didn't constrain it and they accidentally moved this point. Come on. Let's see if I can even get it. I think it's not gonna let me there. It's just letting me move it this way. So if I move it way out like this and pull this surface out of hide, you're gonna have one heck of a surprise, right?
Oh.
Look at the size of that thing compared to what I intended. So again, guide curve 1 to guide curve 2 is scaling something. Oops. Okay, so let's say I delete this line and create a new line. What's going on here? I'm going to create a new line that doesn't even go. Oh, this might. Geez, I really missed. I don't even know what's going to happen. Let's see. I'm going to exit out. Yep. It's really scaling. Because it got bigger on this end, so it's scaling the distance from the original line to here, measuring that distance and scaling everything else accordingly. So if it's twice as big from here to here, then this line will be twice as big as well. Does that make sense? So look what it does, which could be cool if that's what you're trying to do. That would be awesome if that's what I was intending to do. Okay, but that's not really what I was intending to do. So we'll undo this. Let's see if I can't undo all the way back to where it was. Okay. So I'll pop back into the ISO view real quick. At this point, everything is correct, right? And then I showed you if I go to this sketch and I move this line, exit out, it's going to scale it. That's not what I want, right? Oops. I'm going to delete that sweep. Again, using the sweep command with two guide curves. This is my profile, this is guide curve 1, this is guide curve 2. Select preview. Now that should have messed up. How come it didn't mess that up? Oh, because I didn't do my anchor points. Let's do that again. Sweep, two guide curves. This is my profile. This is my guide curve 1. This is my guide curve 2. And I'm going to apply my anchor points. And this anchor point over here. It takes that anchor point and it finds guide curve 2 and it's going to stretch it out to where it hits that. I don't know what's going on, why it didn't take it, but I mean it did it. Oh, are they different lengths? Alright, so that's okay. That's not what we want, right? So I'm going to go ahead and delete this sweep. Looks like this point needs to stretch out one more. So if I were to do that sweep again, it'd probably take care of that error, I think. And my anchor points. What? Oh. What happened there? Anchor point 1 should be this one. I don't know what I did. Try it again. Profile. Guide curve 1. Guide curve 2. Point number 1. Oh, I didn't have this highlighted. Point number 1 and then point number 2. Hit OK. Alright, so that's not what I want. So I'm going to undo that. Now I gotta see if I can remember how to do this. So if I were
Can you use the anchor point at the end of the line there instead of the profile?
Well, there's a better technique with reference surface,
Okay.
profile, guide curve, preview, select OK. Alright? That's what I would recommend. Now, that seems to work great until I get something like this. Then all of a sudden it's different. So let me hide this sweep. If you recall last time, I used both curves, right? Well, the first thing I don't like is I have to make two curves. So I'm duplicating my effort here. I have to make this plane, then I gotta make another plane, and then what if I accidentally typed in .1 on accident, or I got careless and I hit 2.2 or something like that? Then the part's going to be changed, and then if the distance is so minute, I might not even catch it. That I have it the wrong distance, and I really don't want to worry about it. So let's try another technique, and go to with reference surface and grab that surface, this profile, and then this guide curve, and keep it on that surface. I'll hit preview. Oh, look, it works great. Okay. I'm gonna select OK. And you notice I didn't need the second curve. So the best technique would be that technique that I just showed you. Let's throw one more monkey wrench in this on my next video.